Retailers are betting big on the return of in-store shopping. Recent data out from Coresight Research finding that major U.S. retailers opened more stores than they closed in 2022. Now, this is the first time that this has happened since 2016, the latest sign that the death of brick and mortar may have been greatly exaggerated. Let's talk about all this. We want to bring in Tom O'Hearn. He's the CEO of Mace Rich, which owns and operates shopping centers here throughout the country. Tom, it's great to have you. So certainly we talked a lot about maybe the death of brick and mortar, maybe the death of malls over the last several years. It certainly seems like that tide has shifted. What are you seeing? What are you hearing from your tenants today?
Well, you're right. The demise of the A-quality regional mall has been greatly exaggerated. And where we're really seeing it is in retailer demand. We're seeing demand like we have not seen since before the great financial crisis. 2022, for example, was a record year for us. We did over 1,000 leases, over 4 million square feet. It's a tremendous amount of retailer demand, and it's coming from a lot of interesting non-traditional categories. You know, we're seeing co-working coming into the malls, multifamily residential, high-end fitness, new entertainment uses, office towers, electric vehicle makers are starting to take a fair amount of space in our malls, and it's not just Tesla. So the malls are becoming a place to be. They're exciting, and the consumer has certainly come back with a force.
Has the consumer come back, or have malls just evolved? Because we just spent 15 minutes talking about how consumers have shifted their spending from goods to services. Do malls actually reflect that trend?
Well, we do, because we provide things beyond just the traditional mall apparel and footwear uses. Today, it's a lot more food and beverage. Office components are part of it. Multifamily entertainment, for example, is a much bigger component than it was years ago. So it's bringing in more people, more energy. One example I can give you is we recently signed a deal with the Arte Museum, which is going to go in the third level of Santa Monica Place here in Southern California. They're going to take 48,000 square feet that used to be a theater. They're going to repurpose that space and basically create a digital art gallery, and they expect to bring in 1 million visitors per year. I mean, that's a tremendous amount of energy and traffic to the third level of a mall that, frankly, wasn't seeing that level of activity coming from the theater operator.
Tom, when it comes to consumers, obviously they're out there looking for experiences. Maybe that's why they're going out and shopping in person after shopping online for a while. But some of those macro concerns that we have heard about this earnings season, are you seeing any signs of that, just any signs of distress from any of your tenants in terms of people backing out of deals?
We have not. I mean, we've certainly been cautious about that and have an eye to that. We're sensitive that could happen given the macroeconomic situation that we find ourselves in. But the consumer has proven to be incredibly resilient. I mean, coming out of COVID, we expected that, but it's continued. And in fact, even January reported good, strong demand from consumers. So we're not seeing the retailers back off. We're not seeing the new uses back off. The leasing demand is still there. And, the proof is in the sales, and the sales numbers have been good. Like 2022, we were up 7%, and in January, we were up 3%.
Really fascinating trend, Tom, coming out of COVID when everyone, to your point, predicted the death. You mentioned something that caught our attention, and there was an article in the New York Times about people building upscale apartments at or near or actually in malls. Where are you seeing that? Do you think that accelerates?
I do think that accelerates. We're seeing it. In fact, we're doing it at Carolyn Commons in Scottsdale. We're adding 110 luxury apartments to that project. And it's going to add not only the right kind of activity, it's going to add additional people. It makes it a more interesting site. And really what we're seeing is that A-quality regional malls are moving away from being malls per se, and they're becoming town center where people come to not just eat and shop, but also to live, in many cases to work. And it's going to continue to happen. At Flatiron Crossing in Broomfield, Colorado, we're planning a 330-unit luxury apartment complex. So we have more and more opportunities throughout our portfolio to repurpose former department store boxes and create multifamily and office, as well as hotels.
And a view of the Flatirons, Tom. I've been there. That is my home. That is my school. What a beautiful sight. Tom O'Hearn, Macerich CEO. Really interesting conversation. Appreciate that.